Why Linux Mint excels on older laptops. A practical guide to better battery life and longevity. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've got an older laptop that's starting to feel its age, maybe a 10 or 12-year-old ThinkPad, Dell, or HP that struggles with modern Windows, today we're diving into why Linux Mint remains one of the smartest, most power-efficient choices for reviving that hardware in 2026. We'll keep it real, data-driven, and focused on what actually works on legacy chipsets. No hype, just practical insights from real-world testing and community benchmarks.
The older laptop reality in 2026. Modern operating systems have grown heavier. Windows 11 pushes constant background services, telemetry, and resource-hungry features that older CPUs and batteries simply weren't designed for. The result? Faster battery drain, higher thermals, louder fans, and that frustrating feeling that your machine is dying. Linux Mint steps in as a stable, user-friendly alternative that strips away unnecessary bloat while delivering excellent real-world efficiency. Whether you're on the road or just want to keep a reliable daily driver alive, Mint can add hours of usable time and reduce heat stress on aging silicon.
Busting the lightweight desktop-only myth. A common piece of advice you'll hear is, for old laptops, install the XFCE edition of Mint. It's the lightest. That's solid guidance, and we'll get to the numbers. But the bigger picture is that Mint as a whole is engineered for efficiency. Its conservative defaults, polished power management tools, and minimal background processes give it an edge over Windows and many other distros. Even the Cinnamon edition, Mint's flagship, performs surprisingly well once you apply a few simple tweaks, though for the absolute lowest power draw on decade-old hardware, XFCE or Mate still edges it out in raw resource use.
Here's what the data shows from 2025 to 2026 benchmarks across forums, user reports, and independent tests. On idle systems with 4 GB of RAM, XFCE typically sits around 500 to 550 megabytes RAM usage and near zero extra CPU cycles. Cinnamon comes in higher, roughly 700 to 750 megabytes of RAM and 4 to 5% CPU idle. But the difference shrinks dramatically when you disable unnecessary animations and effects. The real win for Mint overall? Tools like TLP, pre-installed or easy to enable, and smart CPU frequency scaling that keep legacy processors in low power states without making the desktop feel sluggish.
In head-to-head comparisons on older Intel and AMD chipsets, Mint editions consistently outperform Windows 11 in idle power draw, often by 20 to 40%, thanks to fewer always-on services and better Linux kernel-level power management. The kernel and background process advantage. Linux Mint is based on Ubuntu LTS, so it inherits a modern 6.x kernel series that includes ongoing power efficiency improvements, better interrupt handling, improved CPU idle states, and smarter thermal management. Mint doesn't load the heavy background noise you see in some rolling release distros or full-featured desktops. Processes stay quiet during idle periods, which directly translates to lower fan speeds, cooler temperatures, and longer battery runtime. Real users on decade-old ThinkPads and similar machines report 6 to 10 plus hours of light use, web browsing, documents, video, after installing TLP and enabling power-saving profiles. That's often double what the same hardware delivers under Windows these days.
Real-world battery and CPU scaling tests. Let's talk numbers from community tests on 2010s era hardware. Core i5, i7 from the Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge era through Haswell. Idle power draw with Mint XFCE plus TLP. Often 4 to 8 watts on older Intel chips. Under light load, browser tabs plus office work, 10 to 15 watts sustained. Compared to Windows 11 on the same machine, users frequently see 2 to 4 extra hours of battery life.
Cinnamon can match or come close once optimized. Turn off desktop effects
Enable Power Saver Profile, but XFCE wins for pure efficiency on the oldest gear. The key isn't which desktop is lightest on paper. It's how well the entire system manages CPU frequency scaling, GPU power states, and background scheduling. Mint's defaults shine here. The definitive setup for maximum longevity. Here's the exact battle-tested configuration that maximizes power efficiency on older laptops. Works on any Mint edition, but XFCE gives the biggest head start.
1. Install the right edition. Go with Linux Mint XFCE for the absolute best efficiency on hardware from 2015 or earlier. Cinnamon is still fine if you prefer the modern look and have at least 4 to 6 gigabytes of RAM. 2. Enable power management right away. Install or enable TLP. It's often already there or one click away in the software manager. Run sudo tlp start and edit /etc/tlp.conf for aggressive settings. Set CPU energy enable CPU scaling governor on BAT equals power save. Enable CPU scaling governor on BAT equals power saved.
Turn on disk and USB auto suspend. 3. Quick Cinnamon-specific tweaks, if you choose it. System settings, effects, disable all animations and shadows. Use the power applet and set it to aggressive suspend and dimming. Install Auto CP USB as a complement to TLP for even smarter scaling. 4. Additional easy wins. Use a lightweight browser, Firefox with hardware acceleration enabled. Enable ZRAM for better memory handling without swapping to disk. Keep the kernel updated. Mint's 6.x series continues to improve power states on legacy hardware. These changes are simple, reversible, and don't require deep Linux knowledge. Most users see noticeable improvements within minutes. Why this makes Mint the sustainable choice. In 2026, e-waste is a real problem. Older laptops still have perfectly capable hardware, if the OS lets them breathe. Linux Mint doesn't just run on old gear, it respects it. By keeping background processes quiet, optimizing power profiles at the kernel level, and offering a stable, familiar interface, Mint turns potential landfill material into a reliable, long-lasting machine. You don't need the most stripped-down, minimalist distro to get great results. Mint proves that thoughtful engineering and user-friendly defaults beat raw minimalism for most people.
Final verdict. If your older laptop is gasping under Windows or feeling sluggish, give Linux Mint a try, especially the XFCE edition for maximum battery and thermal efficiency. It's free, safe, and backed by one of the most helpful communities online. You'll likely get hours more runtime, quieter operation, and years of extra life from hardware you already own. Have you tried Mint on an old laptop? Drop your specs and battery results in the comments. I read every one. If this video helped, hit that like button, subscribe for more practical Linux guides, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay efficient, friends!